Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm about a week out from a pretty painful proximal hamstring injury, and my rehab is going well. I'm strengthening, doing some mobility work and making good progress. I've skated one day 2 days ago, and it was interesting, a little painful, but not too bad. But I did have a kind of a fear of falling. I really did not want to fall and injure myself again. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about fear and pain and how to deal with those. So maybe if you have some areas where you struggle, this will be helpful for you. Now, I may be new to inline skating, but I'm certainly not new to sports that have some element of fear. I've surfed, skateboard, scuba dive, ride dirt bikes, I've raced motocross, I've ride mountain bikes, kayaked, rock climb, and all of those sports have some element of fear. And in fact, it's that fear that makes them exciting. So I'm well versed on fear and pain. Now, in my experience, fear really boils down to two different things: a fear of failure and a fear of pain. And of those two, the fear of failure is by far the hardest to deal with and the most debilitating. And I'm not talking about fear of failing to do a trick, or fear, say you're kayaking, fear of not making a rapid, or mountain biking, fear of not making a trail. Those still boil down to fear of pain ultimately. But what I'm talking about is the kind of fear that keeps you from getting out the front door. It's not a fear of failing so much as it is a fear of being seen as a failure. You get embarrassed, or you think, what are people going to think? I'm too old. I'm too so-and-so. So those are just fears that keep you from getting out the door. And it's hard to deal with those, but I'll give you a few of examples from my life and how I've dealt with them over the years. For me, I'm highly introverted. I'm like on the Myers-Briggs scale, as high on the introvert side as you can get. So any situation where I have to deal with people, groups of people, is really difficult. And what I try to do to overcome that is every year I set goals to challenge myself to do something that's way outside my comfort zone. And the more you can do something outside of your comfort zone, the more you expand that comfort zone, and less things become uncomfortable. A great example for me is YouTube. Making these videos for me is like incredibly difficult just because of that whole introversion thing. But if I push myself to do them, it gets a little bit easier and a little bit easier every time. So ultimately, by the end, it's not so much a fear of failure as I just got to get up and get moving and do it. And so that's what I encourage you to do. If you fear getting out the door, just get up, walk out, head out somewhere, do something different. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go skating. Just go out to the skate park, walk around, check it out. Just do something that pushes you a little bit towards that uncomfortableness. And the more you do that, the less uncomfortable those things will be as time goes on. A fear of pain is the other issue, and of course that's a natural fear. Nobody likes pain. I certainly don't like pain. I've had my share, but I never enjoy it. And it's one of those things that does have, it's kind of got a way you can help mitigate it. And there are several things that I tend to do, that I try to do to help mitigate that fear of pain and help you progress. The first thing is the one thing I didn't do when I came out to the grind spot here, which I'm at now, and that's a good warm-up. So if you get warmed up, you get your body flexible, you get your muscles warm and supple, you're a whole lot less likely to get hurt if you do fall. So that's number one, is always get a good warm-up in. Don't be embarrassed about stretching. Don't be embarrassed about just going slow and easy in the beginning. I know when I get out to the park, it takes me 20-30 minutes sometimes to get warmed up, where Seth can jump on his skates and feel like he's warmed up in 1 minute. I just can't do that. And the older you get, the more you'll find that a proper warm-up keeps you from getting injured. As I sit here today with a hamstring injury that probably could have been totally avoided had I warmed up properly that day. The second method is to make proper use of your strengths and weaknesses. Let's say for me, I fear falling backwards. That's a huge weakness for me. I hate falling backwards. I hate the feeling of being out of control when you fall backwards. So I like to try and do anything I can to not fall backwards. Conversely, I don't have any fear of falling frontwards. I know you've probably seen on my videos a ton of times where I fall frontwards. And in a lot of those cases, that's intentional. It's me overreacting to my fear of falling backwards because I don't care about falling frontwards. So for me, I can always err on the side of a frontwards fall and kind of mitigate that fear of falling backwards. Now, there's still some things like dropping in that big bowl. I just hadn't gotten there yet. That fear of falling backwards is still there. But that's one of the ways that I can help mitigate that, is by playing into my strength of less fear falling frontwards than backwards. And now, lastly, and probably most importantly, is just to work your way up. You can do the old elephant. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You know, how do you conquer obstacles? You conquer them one step at a time. So you don't have to go to the skate park the first day and try to grind the bowl. Certainly you can work your way up. You can work your way up from a low ledge to a medium ledge to a high ledge. You can work your way up from a 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot wall. And the more you do that, each level you go, you're going to gain a little more confidence. Now, for sure, there's going to come a time when you got to take a leap of faith and just do it. But if you work your way up there, you should have the confidence to know that, hey, even if it does go wrong, I'll play to my strengths and I probably won't get hurt too bad. Ultimately, your ability to conquer fear in both those forms is going to really open up your life. It's going to increase your enjoyment. I know for all those sports I mentioned that I did earlier, there's always some base level of fear that until you overcome that, you're just never going to progress in that sport, and you're never going to really enjoy it. If you're going around the whole time like I was before the volcano, kind of in survival mode, it's just not as enjoyable as if you can push yourself over that threshold of fear. So I hope I've offered just some tips that are helpful. If you like that, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.